In a small mountain village, there lived a young farmer named Kabir, 23 years old, who once was content with what he had, until the morning he looked over the wall. Kabir's field was small. It was not the biggest in the village. It was not the most golden, but the wheat grew in straight, patient rows, and every morning he watered it, and every evening he walked between the rows and touched the heads of the grain with his fingers. He was happy. The mountains rose behind his field, snow on their peaks even in summer. The sun came up gentle. The work was steady. He needed nothing more. One morning, as he was carrying his bucket from the well, he stopped at the low stone wall that separated his field from his neighbor's. The neighbor's name was Mohan. Mohan was older than Kabir, perhaps in his 40s, and his field was twice the size of Kabir's, and the wheat grew taller, and the gold of it seemed brighter even in the cool morning light. Kabir looked. He had walked past this wall 1,000 times. But that morning, for the first time, he stopped. The next morning, he stopped again, and the next. Soon he was spending more time at the wall than in his own field. He measured Mohan's wheat against his own. He counted the rows. He noticed every change. He no longer noticed his own field. He skipped a watering, then another. The leaves of his wheat began to curl. He told himself it would be fine. He kept watching the wall. Days passed this way, then weeks. The mornings grew warmer, and one dawn Kabir woke, walked into his field, and stopped. His wheat was dead. The rows were brown, the heads were empty, the earth was cracked. He had not watered in many days. He had not seen. He turned to look at Mohan's field. In the soft morning light, it looked magnificent, tall, golden, untouched by the death that had come for his own. Something broke in Kabir's chest, not sadness, something hotter. He did not understand. He had wanted only what Mohan had. How had Mohan kept his field alive while his had died? He climbed the low stone wall. He walked into Mohan's field for the first time, and he stopped again. Up close, the wheat was not what it had looked like from the wall. The undersides of the leaves were eaten through with pests, tiny holes, black marks, the kind of damage you only saw if you stood inside the field. From the wall, the wheat looked tall and gold. From inside, it was already half lost. Kabir looked up. Mohan was standing at the far edge of the field, watching him. The man's face was deeply lined. His eyes were tired in a way Kabir had never noticed from the wall. His hands, resting at his sides, were calloused, and they trembled slightly. Kabir's voice came out small. "How is your field still beautiful?" Mohan did not answer right away. He looked down at the ground, and then up at the mountains. The wind moved softly across the wheat. Then he said gently, "It isn't. You only thought it was, because you were looking at it from the other side of the wall." Kabir stood there for a long time. The pests moved on the leaves. Mohan's tired hands hung at his sides. The mountains watched, as they had always watched. Then Kabir climbed back over the wall. He stood in his own dead field. He felt the grief of what was gone. He felt the foolishness of what he had done. But he also felt something quieter, something he had not felt in many weeks. He knelt. He began to pull the dead wheat from the earth, slowly, by the roots. He worked through the morning. By the time the sun was high, the field was bare. That afternoon, he planted again. Not because he believed the new wheat would grow, not because he was sure of anything, but because the only field he could ever grow was his own. If you are listening to this story, and you spent today looking at someone else's life, at their field across the fence, at their wheat, at their gold, please remember this. Every field looks better from a distance. Every life looks better from outside it. The only one you can grow is the one under your own hands. Tend it, even if it has died. Plant again. If this story spoke to you, please subscribe. It helps quiet stories like this reach more people who need them. Take care of yourself, and good night.